Hello and welcome to the Crysis pre-launch stream. I'm Janneke, Senior Community Manager at Crytek, and we have Stefan, which is the project lead on Crysis Remastered.
Correct, yes.
So today we're going to take a look at the changes on PC, because we have the build here ready on PC, because in 2 days we're finally there.
Finally, yes.
I know we had the Switch release earlier, and now it's finally time for the PC, the PlayStation, and the Xbox. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a variety of topics. We're going to show you some things. So obviously we're going to talk about the changes since the original Crysis. We're going to look at, for example, Svogi, ray tracing, can it run Crysis mode, that you might have already seen a little teaser on social media. But first we're going to look at the tech trailer that was released yesterday to get an idea of what is coming next. So basically, yeah, we're going to have a look now, so we'll see you in a bit. The tech trailer.
Yes.
So you already saw a lot of things that have changed since then. But how about we show it in the game? Because obviously, you know, that's why we're here for, to show things that we haven't seen before in the game exactly. So yeah, let's dive into the game.
Yes, so,
what are we going to do?
So first, I think we start with the most famous scene in Crysis. So it's the sunset scene. So just walk a little bit forward, so you can really see what we have done here. So because a lot of new technologies that can be shown here in that scene. So you can see our new water, of course with the ray trace reflections. Then we have also reworked on all mountains. So if you compare it to original Crysis, we have much more trees now on it, and also the mountain looks really awesome. And every time when you are walking through the levels, you have also mountains in the background, so we put a lot of love into the mountains too. So people see always, wow, it feels special to be here in this environment in Crysis.
Okay, and yeah, we've updated the textures for the mountains, you said, obviously also the foliage. Yeah, basically, let's go. I mean, we're ready to see this in action.
Absolutely. So, yes, as you already said, so we have worked on all textures in the game. So up to 8K. It's not only the nanosuit in 8K, we have also the beach have 8K textures, the sand has 8K, some stones has 8K textures. Also here for all the brushes and grass here, everything. They have 2K, 4K textures. It was 500
P?
Yeah, kilobyte P. In original Crysis, yeah.
That is pretty
Yep.
big upgrade.
So it was very important that the PC community understands that we put a lot of love into the game, especially for the PC community.
Yeah.
All the features you're seeing here at the moment are also mostly on the Xbox and the PlayStation, but of course they have some limitations.
Obviously.
Yeah. I mean to jump on it directly, I want to go in the options menu.
We're directly diving into the options. Let's go.
Directly before we proceed here. So so let's start the game settings. So we have 2 controls mode now in the Crysis. In Crysis Remastered, so first is the one you can with Q, going to armor mode, E, cloak mode, stuff like this. That's you can just control over the keyboard. And second, we have for the people who enjoyed the old classic Nanosuit menu. So I can show it here. I mean, maybe some people will remember. They have this wheel here. Yeah. And so you can choose in the options menu what you want to have. We think that people will like it.
Yeah.
Because they can choose.
Yeah, because in general we have also done some tests internally, obviously, with some very lucky Crysis fans that get to try it earlier, and they actually gave us a lot of feedback, which also caused us to make different changes. And I mean, in general, when we originally released the trailer, which unfortunately wasn't finished yet, but we, decided we're gonna take some more time and make sure that it's really shining on the PC as well as the consoles compared to the Switch, because obviously for the Switch it was a lot easier. The developments, like how would you explain it? Like the developments stopped early because obviously we don't have the features to ray tracing.
I can jump on that in a second. Yeah. So you're right. We had the focus group here in the office. We call it focus group. So they gave us feedback some months ago. Then we invited them again 1 month ago, and then we compared the feedback. And also, as you already saw, maybe Digital Foundry was here in the office. Maybe you saw the video. They also provided very good feedback to us, and we resolved 95% of all the feedback in the game.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's always good to get the feedback, because we see the game every day, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
you get blind to it.
You get blind to it. You're enjoying it more and more, but then someone comes around the corner and says, "Hey, this looks some kind of broken." I say, "Yeah, you are right. Yeah, let's look into this."
Yeah.
So that was that's what you need.
Yeah,
so that's totally fine for this.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks to the feedback. Very glad that we had the chance to do that.
Absolutely. So as I already mentioned, the Switch version was a different development pipeline, and it was already done. So we decided to release it. For the PC version and Xbox version, they were on pair for 2 months ago, but then Xbox and PlayStation branched off to a different pipeline, and then only PC. So we went full out on PC, all the textures, view distance, can run Crysis mode, everything we added then now at the end for PC, that people are...
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah.
Can it run Crysis? Ooh.
Can it run Crysis? So, what is Can it run Crysis? Of course, it's based on a meme, which was built up the last 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So, we had a meeting together, and I thought, what could be really great with the game? What a special thing. And then I said, what is about the Can it run Crysis mode that gives you no limitations anymore? You have unlimited view distance, everything is LED 0, nothing is popping up anymore. And I think people, especially for the PC community, they will enjoy it, because what I'm missing at the moment for PC games is there's a game out there which pushes hardware and technology, and I think that's the DNA from Crytek to do this.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
I think with the Can it run Crysis mode, that is something which everyone will like also in the future.
So future. I think we should wait. Like, we shouldn't give it away just yet. Okay. So, obviously, let's talk about first maybe, obviously, I mean, it would be good to look at, we have, different settings. So, at the moment, which are the settings that we have is just mainly very high. We haven't put it all yet on Crysis, but it is already pretty steady. So, I mean, let's just talk first a little bit also still about some changes like Swogi. I mean, we can maybe have a look in some of the buildings while we're at it.
Absolutely.
And then... we should keep the best for last.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Stay tuned. Don't go away, guys. So yeah, Swogi. I mean, in original Crysis, of course, there was not Swogi or global illumination in place, and because of that, we needed to add, let's say, fake lights into the building that looks like the sun is shining and looks bright, very bright. But now with Swogi in place, you have the sun is coming in, and also you can see here. The sun is from here bouncing to the wall. Yeah. You can see it in the corner. So, I mean, of course, Crysis has not that much indoor environments, but everywhere when you are indoor, you see a big difference. So, I mean, for Crysis, we really focus on the visuals. That was very important for us, because it was very important for the people back in the days. So that was only mainly focus for Crysis Remastered, that we bring it to the next visual level. Yep. Yeah,
you can see the reflection really well here as well. Yep. And the Swogi, that made it on the Switch. And I think, I mean, when we read the feedback as well, it's one of the most things that we got a lot of positive feedback about, because it really changes the look and feel of the game. But yeah, and also obviously we still have the sandbox feature, so you can still destroy everything, of course.
Yep, you can just
blow up that thing.
Yes, so I mean, opala, no. So I want to show you, but it's not, I think, not here anymore. But let's see here. You can see all the reflections here, right? So yeah, as I want to say, so all the reflections are live. That means if you're destroying something in the water, especially here, you can show it here.
Yeah, that's shot from behind.
So you can also wait.
You can see that the tree's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So all the reflections are live, and also here. All the reflections in the water.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of changes already.
So and to jump into ray tracing.
Yeah, so before we jump into ray tracing, let's have a look at the trailer. This was released, obviously this trailer is more specifically for the console, but let's have a look anyways, and then we're going to talk a little bit about ray tracing.
Achieved with CryEngine.
So yeah, you already had a little taste of ray tracing. That was specifically on console, but now we're gonna have a look at PC. So we're currently loading into the level.
So what's the difference between console ray tracing and PC ray tracing? Technology is same. You have almost all features are also on consoles. But on PC, you are, since ray tracing, software ray tracing, very scalable, we have put a lot more stuff into it. So one is of course the options. On consoles, you have lower resolutions of the reflections, of course, because you are limited to the performance of the consoles. But for example, now here in
Glad you made it, Psycho. Where you been?
Be careful.
It's almost killed by an airplane.
Get a move on, Nomad.
You can see here we have now also the nanosuit in the reflections.
Yeah, nice.
So it's called skinning reflections. Also to go further into this, as you know, we have also hardware ray tracing support. So for hardware tracing and software tracing at the moment, the biggest difference is performance. So you're getting the extra performance for hardware. Plus on top of that, we want to make sure that more characters are reflecting in the reflections. And also some more details in the reflections, because we have that power. So that will be the difference, because I saw people asking what's the difference between software and hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
And also I saw a lot of AMD users or also GTX users from NVIDIA asking, can I play Crysis with ray tracing? Yes, you can. It's running very well for you. And also to jump into this, what I mean with very well, here. So we have ray tracing quality options. Off is clear, there's no ray tracing. So what is happening when there's no tracing anymore, it most likely go to screen space reflections. There's another technology. Then we have performance mode, that means the reflections are not that high resolution. So 540p and 720p for diffuse and specular reflections. And then of course it goes higher and higher. And in camera Crysis mode you have 4K reflections, you have the alpha test enabled, all kind of stuff. You really want to go high end with the reflections, you can use it, but again, it will be very expensive in terms of performance for you.
Yeah, obviously.
But between performance and camera Crysis modes, you can easily get 30-40% performance differences, so you can play around with the settings. So that's totally fine. And also, I mean, especially the last level here is really cool to showcase. Or let's see if not an airplane is coming.
Yeah, and before it did.
I mean, this I have you seen already now in our trailers. Like that scene here looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Yeah.
But also here for the lights, for the alien.
Yeah, and also you can see here the yellow jacket here. He's also moving. And especially, I know people starting to play Crysis, but especially for the ray tracing stuff, I play to the end because especially here in the last level of it's called Fleet, you see a lot of nice reflections in the deck. I just want to not go that far because of spoiler, but you can see here on the ground it's moving and everything is here.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you compare it to back in the day and now, what's possible, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and wait, I just want to show you one more room because it was very beautiful in ray tracing reflections. Just skip the cutscene here that don't get any spoilers. So
You need a hearing aid in that suit? I said
like
get
also
Well, displays.
chairs and
Yeah,
displays. So yeah,
it's crazy actually. Like we're looking at a floor.
yeah.
Look how beautiful this floor
It's a
is.
floor, yeah. Of course, we also went through the full game because you can adjust every material in the game. I mean, in theory, you can also make wood is a mirror, but of course, it's not realistic, right?
Obviously,
So
yeah.
we went through the game. What is metal? What could we reflect good? What could we not reflect that good? So we see a lot of nice locations in the game, which reflect them very well. Especially, of course, the ocean, which is most of the time there. So enjoy it. It looks very awesome. On consoles for Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro, and also on PC. And for PC, as I said, you can go all in with the settings.
So all in, can it run Crysis mode? I guess we can show it off a little bit, or do you want to talk a bit about the benchmarks first? I think let's do can it run Crysis mode first, and then dive into the benchmark after.
Yep, so let me load another level.
We're not looking at this.
No.
We're hacking the system.
No, to be honest, for you, also the guys out there, we have a Siva ready, even in the release mode. You can open the console, just enter con, C-O-N, underline restricted 0, and you get access to all Sivas in the game.
So you can hack the game.
Yeah, you can hack the game, so you can make your own configs. You can, yeah, that's for you, for PC gamers out there, because we think you made a lot of good stuff with the original Crysis. So we also want to give you the option to this, but we also will cover this later when we're talking about modding.
Exactly, yeah. I know that is very discussed, and we want to definitely touch on that. But yeah, basically, we're gonna look at the Runacron Crysis mode. So, as you already said, inspired by the meme. Very curious, you know, obviously we have tested a little bit with this computer. It's not the best, but it's a pretty decent. I don't remember what CPU's in here, but we know that's a 2080 that it's running with.
It's a 2080 Ti.
Yeah, TI, okay.
TI, yeah.
So that is the latest that is currently available.
Yeah. So we also want to make sure if you can run Crysis mode that basically all graphic cards will struggle most likely because everything is there. It's not loading in anymore, and so we decided. I mean, especially we also talk about benchmarks.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I have at home a Titan RTX, which is currently the best graphic card which is available. I mean, tomorrow the 3080 is coming out.
Yeah,
right?
I'm very curious to see.
I'm
how
also
it's
looking forward to.
Have we already tested with that?
No, but I'm ordering directly 3090 next week.
Nice.
I always want to have the high-end graphic cards.
For at home or at work?
For home, of course. Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, so
I think I'm going for the 38, just to save a little bit of money and it being good enough to run Crysis. I
yeah,
guess.
absolutely. So here, for example, you see it already. You can see there on the mountain. Now it's okay. It's about the field mode and other stuff, but here. You see all the trees there. So
Yeah.
can run Crysis mode. That means everything is there all the time. Nothing will pop up because normally if you're playing through the game, especially here, always seen something's popping up in the corner here and there because of performance reasons. That's totally fine and normal in game development.
Yeah.
But we're giving you the option to not see this anymore. But of course you need a very good PC. And to go back on the benchmarks. So on 4K with a 2080 Ti or Titan RTX, I mean, difference are 10% between these two cards. It's almost the same, but you need around 8 up to 9 GB graphic memory, and you're not reaching 30 FPS stable in 4K in the can run Crysis mode. That's not possible. Maybe it will be possible with the new Ampere graphic cards, or who knows with the new AMD graphic cards. Whoop. Oh, that was close. Easy, good.
I mean, so far the computer is surviving.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. What you can also try, which is also beautiful with ray tracing, as I mentioned, you can get a sniper, which is here on the hill, shooting here on the tree, and you will see it here in the reflections from far away, how the trees will fall down in the water reflections. Stuff that is very cool. Yeah, this is about kind of on Crysis mode. You have no limitations anymore, and as I said, that is I think something people wanted from the PC community, and here you have it. Have fun with it, and good luck with your hardware system.
I'm very curious to see people's reactions. I mean, I'm curious to see people's PC's reactions, to see how well they handle everything. Yeah. If your PC explodes, please send us a video. We'd like to highlight all of them.
I hope not.
So yeah, we talked a little bit about benchmarks. Maybe you can already load up the benchmark to show it to the people on the stream.
Yes. So I will quit the game now. So
goodbye, game.
Goodbye, bye.
Yeah, so yeah, while we're loading up, yeah, maybe talk a bit about the benchmarks already. What exactly can you do with the benchmarks? How did we, you know, make presets? How many different maps are there?
Yeah, so at the moment you can see only one map. We will add another one today into the build, so for the release. And you can choose, so we made a little UI for you. It's not really, it's not being connected to leaderboards and who has the most points and here and there, right? So, okay, make it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make that.
No, yes, good.
Just that there's nothing in the way.
Okay.
So you can clearly see nice. We're just having it like this. Give us a moment.
Yeah.
Wait. So yeah, as you can see the little menu we just spoke about.
Yeah. So as I said, you have a little UI now as a benchmark. You can choose the graphics settings, ray tracing quality, the resolution, anti-aliasing mode. For now only island, but when you're getting the build you will also see village, the second level. And what we're also working today at the moment is that you're getting the chance to create your own benchmark. It's not that easy. We're trying to implement that today for you, but it will definitely come and maybe over the next days into the build. So that means you can jump into the game, you're pressing a specific button combination, then you're creating a demo, you can walk around the level, saving the demo, and then you can, this is your own benchmark, so you can just, the benchmark will be then detected here in the benchmark tool, and you can create your own benchmark. I think especially for a hardware YouTuber and other people out there who wants to have a CPU test or GPU test, they can do it on their own. So let's start.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah.
So, curious to see what the computer will pump out results-wise. It's thinking hard. Let's go.
Achieved with CryEngine.
Loading in process.
Yep.
So progress. We'll run like 4 times if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. So the first time is to load everything in. So we decided to do this, and then you have 3 runs which you can count. And at the end of the run, you will get an output in the form of a text file, and you see the minimum, average, maximum FPS. But this will you see in a second.
And why 4 times exactly? Is there a reason to, or?
Okay, I said the first time is just to collect everything, and you have 3 runs, so you can say, okay, I have 3 runs, and you can calculate if maybe 80 FPS in the first one, 81 in the second, and 79 in the last one. You will say, okay, 3 runs, and the average I think is an 80, of course,
okay.
Right? So you have it's better, because sometimes if you're running benchmarks.
Oh, there we go. Let's go jump right in.
Yeah. That's the first time loading everything in, and also streaming everything in.
So now we're doing it in the which settings again?
It's very high at the moment.
Very high.
Very high, yeah.
Can you also run it in the Can It Run Crysis, the benchmark?
Sure. So people can always do it. Yeah. This also Can It Run Crysis mode is available. Yeah.
So obviously the first one is going to be the toughest, I guess, on the computer because it has to load everything in, and then afterwards it will run more smoothly through the level.
While we're talking about benchmarks, so I also saw a lot of press articles and people talking about the recommended and minimum specs we published on the Epic Game Store. So that you are aware, these are the recommendation for medium, low settings. Once you want to go higher, especially for the can run Crysis mode, just talking about 1080p at the moment. So for 1080p you need a high-end graphic card. There's no other way around. And then if you go for very high, you of course need a high-end AMD card. What's also very special with our software technology, people think everything is GPU heavy, but it's also focusing on CPU load. So all the BBH calculations.
What is BBH?
BBH.
I mean, I don't know these terms, so
Yeah.
like explain them to me.
Yeah,
Those
so-
fancy terms.
So in ray tracing, you have BBH instances which are filled with information with all the reflections. For PC, we have, as you see in the top here, we have 300 at the same time. You see it above the frame rate. You see also above the frame rate HWRT. So at the moment, because we have 2080 Ti included, we have a hardware ray tracing enabled. So the game will automatically detect your graphic cards if you have software or hardware ray tracing. You don't need to do anything. That's totally fine. So yeah, BBH instances, so 300 instances at the same time. For consoles we have 150. For PC we doubled it. That's good. So this BBH instances, yeah.
I see. So I think we're on, we're loop at 3 of 4, so
Out of 4, yeah.
we're almost there. Very curious to see how it will do right now. So obviously, like, we see a lot of other details in the top right. Like, are there any other informations that might be interesting for people to know or what they're looking at? What is it?
Yeah, so we can go through it. So at the top you see canvas position, of course, where the camera is located. Then you're seeing, okay, now
What
right now
angle
it's
and move,
there's 11, 64 megabit, 64-bit mode, HDR, SWORI, ray tracing is enabled. Then you see the resolution, which is VH, very high at the moment. You have to see the poly counts, shadow counts, and also then below you see the memory. So memory is calculating the RAM and the GPU memory together. And this is now 1080p mode. So in 1080p you need around 4 or 5 gigabyte of GPU and 4 or 5 gigabyte of RAM. So that's the reason you're getting 10 at the moment. Besides of that, it's only information related to ray tracing, how much it filled into the ray tracing technology at the moment in that scene. So we are almost done.
Almost at the results. Let's see. There we go. What do we get?
Yeah, you see now. It's very accurate. So we have 32 in the first one, as I said, but then 3854, 3867, 3876. 76. So you can say 38.6 is the average. There's only a little
Smidge of difference, yeah.
So, but it's very accurate, and I think people like it. And you can see here the playtime. You can see minimum max FPS. I think that's everything people want. And also, what is great, if you can create your own benchmarks, you can share it also with other people, right? Just give it to the other people. You just need to copy it into the level folder, and the benchmark detects it again, and that's it.
Awesome. Okay. Then we have like a little tiny thing. Obviously, we talked a little bit about modding. So what are our plans for that, or what do we have right now, and what do we want to do maybe in the future?
So, as I said, we have this con-restricted CBAR. To have access to all the CBARs, we can modify everything in the game, especially for the ray tracing options, which are new to everyone, and also especially for the CryEngine users that want to learn more about it, use it, find everything out.
So how many CBARs do we have? Like, you said something like 1,000 or something?
I mean, 1,000, over 1,000. I mean, so much we have in Crysis Remastered implemented, especially now with the ray tracing options. Have fun with it, you will see it. So ray tracing CBAR starting with TI underline, so you see a lot of this. Then the next point is we're giving out the source shaders. That's very important for the modders out there, and also maybe in the future we're also giving out the editor.
No promises yet.
Not promises yet.
We're gonna do the best.
Question: when you ask now why and why not, if you're giving out something from
Go. No. The recording is dead.
we had a visitor here now in the room.
Oh well, it happens.
Yeah. So about the editor, when you ask now why not on release, we want to give out something to the people which is 100% working. And also, of course, we need to make sure that everything is working with the editor. So maybe in the future we'll give you also the editor out, but at the moment with the shaders and with the Siva support, I think that's a good start.
Exactly. And then also a little bit more about the future. Obviously, we're still not done, even though you will have the game in 2 days. We still want to do some updates.
Yes, so very important, we should not talk about is DLSS. We should also, DLSS, who, if you're not familiar with, you're playing the game maybe in rendered 1080p resolution, but you're getting a 4K resolution at the end with the same FPS than 1080p, so it's upscaling it. And it's working very well. The DLSS technology, this will implement, and also terrain blending, and of course everything else which you maybe provide as feedback, because that's also important for you, community.
Yeah.
Provide us feedback, we will work on it, we'll improve it. We hope we covered, of course, a lot with the release.
Obviously.
Almost.
I mean, in general, I don't know if people have played the Switch version, but originally we had some, we released the Switch version, we already had some patches, and then basically we've been listening to feedback, so obviously go to the Discord, discord.gg/Crysis.
Yes.
A very good place to give feedback. We have people from our team, the Crytek team, but we also have people from Saber.
Yes.
So you can directly talk to us there, and it's just ideal. A perfect place to give feedback there, as well as, I mean, social media. It's whatever you prefer, but we're there to listen to you, and hopefully we can do as much as we want for you, of course, but we'll always do our best. So
Yep. So last words, PlayStation, Xbox players, you will enjoy it very well, and this is also very special for you PC gamers. Enjoy it.
thank
you
you
very much.
so much. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.